Hey everybody, I'm ZombieJohnny and it is now 2024. Happy New Year and cheers. Now for today, we're going to take a look at a comic book series that didn't turn out exactly as I thought it was going to be. This is the beloved video game series, Dark Souls, the complete collection.
Dark Souls is a series of video games developed by From Software, and the first Dark Souls game was released in September of 2011 and was directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. The Dark Souls video games are action role-playing games that take place in a dark medieval fantasy setting filled with demons, monsters, horrors, swords, sorcery, and amazing just ahead. And they are considered to be one of the greatest video game series ever made. I've been a Dark Souls and From Software fan since the game first released in 2011, playing through the series and any other games that they released of a similar ilk. With countless hours across the series, it has become a quote-unquote comfort game for myself. Though for people who have never played these games, they are considered to be extremely difficult and punishing. Even for seasoned players such as myself, I still get frustrated with these games. Now, let's quickly talk about the lore of Dark Souls. The deep, endless well of lore. Now, there are many people who have studied and dissected this lore for a long time and can describe it in a better way than I ever could. But that being said, this is a series that has a deep and amazing lore to pull from, including a library full of descriptions on items, armor, weapons, backstory, bosses, people, and the list goes on and on. So many amazing designs and ideas to pull from. And did they do that for this comic? For the most part? No. So this collection is a giant collaborative effort between many writers and illustrators, and this includes writers George Mann, Ryan O'Sullivan, Dan Waters, Cassandra Kaw, Michael Walsh, Taruk Musa, and illustrators Alan Kwa, Piotr Kowalski, Brad Simpson, Nick Percival, Caspar Wingard, Danielle Serra, Dylan Burnett, Damian Worm, Andrea Olimpieri, Matea Iacono, and is published by Titan Comics. Whew! And this Dark Souls complete collection consists of 16 stories. This is the feeling that I get. The first two stories kind of feel like they were a fantasy series that was written and illustrated, but didn't already have an established brand or series to release them. So they just put it under the umbrella of Dark Souls. Because it felt like a dark fantasy series, they tried to fit it in with the Dark Souls mythos or branding. Or the writers and illustrators had no clue who or what a Dark Souls is, so they just wrote a fantasy story with a dragon. Which, yes, you do fight many dragons in Dark Souls, but there are so many more interesting bosses and enemies to choose from. The characters, the creatures, the locations, none of these things are related to Dark Souls. Not until the Age of Fire story, which takes place about halfway through this collection. Now, one thing that bothered me about the first story, Breath of Andolus, everyone speaks in ye olde speak? I can't call myself a Dark Souls expert or aficionado, but I cannot recall a moment in any of the games where a character solely speaks in ye olde English. They might throw a little bit in here and there, but I can't think of a character solely speaking in that way. Oh, hey, look, it's Solaire. In Story 2, Winter's Spite, you do see some familiar faces. Only for a moment. But you've got a Bell Gargoyle. Oh, and look, a Titanite Demon and a Silver Knight. They pop up for only one page, but hey, at least they made it into a story that, so far, felt like it has no connection to Dark Souls at all. Now, on to the story titled Age of Fire, which I had mentioned previously. The story includes the OG badass, Artorias, and it follows the story of a Silver Knight called the Dragon Killer. This story is illustrated beautifully by Anton Kokorev, and this story is awesome. This feels like Dark Souls. Plenty of familiar faces paired with an amazing art style. This story is top notch. Also, Cloud's Buster Sword. Nice! The final section of this collection is a series of short stories. These stories consist of maybe 6 to 10 pages each, but these pages contain some of the best artwork throughout the entire collection. The story named Crossroads is fantastic. It's pretty clever. Also, points deducted for no story containing hovel. So overall, the Dark Souls Complete Collection is an acceptable illustrated interpretation of a beloved video game series. I would say that it's not aimed for people who aren't fans of the game. If you're a collector of all things Dark Souls, then I would say this should be in your collection. But I would also say that it isn't directly aimed for people who are fans of the game either. It has small, fleeting glimpses of familiar things from the game, but it's kind of just a generic dark fantasy comic. So, if you like Dark Souls, I would say pick it up, but at your own discretion. Total volumes, 1. Total page count, 384. Total score, 2 out of 5.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's 2024. Happy New Year, everybody. And this is the first review of the year. I hope you all enjoy it. Last year, we did a lot of reviews, and a lot of them had really great reception. I also started releasing music playlists that are video game music that I have preferred over the years and enjoyed, so I put them together into one of them. The upbeat video game music playlist is doing very well, so thank you all so much for watching, and take a look at that. Take a look at my channel. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. It's going to be a great year. I know I really have to get the 500 subscriber special done. It's going to be incredibly busy for me at the start of the year, so it might not come out for the next little while, but hopefully I'll be able to get it done. And thank you all so much for subscribing and liking and commenting. We have a great community here. Let's just keep the ball rolling with manga reviews, and hopefully I'll be putting out some new music playlists soon. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm ZombieJohnny. Peace.